Drury must be offering BJs in the locker room for crazy returns. Well, whatever it takes to get the teams win. Yeah, Goody to be the fourth line center. This is what we've been talking about in our frustration with Gerard Gallant. When he starts moving Goudreau up, he weakens the fourth line. You need to keep that fourth line. Balance is shifting everywhere. I like Mika not having to match up against the other team's top line, like Kreider, Tro, and Veazey, be the top line matchup. Yes, exactly, Joe. This is what I've been saying all year. This is why the Vinny Trocheck line needed to be this is why you needed a Vinny Trocheck. Ryan Strome was never going to be a matchup center. So there's so much that they had to do with this. And now you move with moving Trocheck down in the lineup, putting him with Kreider and Veazey, two very competent defensive forwards. I know people still think Chris Kreider is a bad defensive forward. He's a great two-way forward. And it's this now just lengthens your lineups. The kid line being what the kid line is, and now you have basically a super line as your top line. This could be deadly, absolutely deadly. Big Daddy is saying way less predictable on power play 1 if they slot Tarasenko over Trocheck, since he's a left shot, less resistant to, or less reliant, on the Mika's one-timer. Yeah, that's one thing. Of course, Tarasenko's got his own one-timer, but you know what? I'm not convinced that they're going to move Trocheck out of PP1. But you know what? Anything anybody's going to want to do to go win a Stanley Cup. And by the way, the Rangers now got a guy that's got a ring on there, because you got him, Goudreau. I think that's it for all the rings. There aren't many. So Bob Ganoush is saying, I still think the Rangers should trade for a fourth liner. You're right about that. Like Mott, Ritchie, or Tanner Jeannot. Tanner Jeannot would be a good addition. I don't know if he's an RFA. I don't know if Nashville moves him. But, that's Larry Brooks at his best all the time. I still, I tweeted 9,000 times last night about how Larry Brooks saying that Lafreniere wants to go to Vancouver because Emily Castonguay, his former agent, is an assistant GM over there. That's one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard anybody ever say. Oh, hey, where do you want to go live? Oh, I want to go live where my lawyer lived. Idiot. Over the New York Rangers. Really. Okay, yeah, David is saying Brad, Mika, and Vlad. Yep. Hopefully getting Anthony on here so you guys just don't have to listen to me very much. 128 of you guys are in the chat right now, guys and girls. And thank you very much. And just, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, please. Because we want to spread this virus around. We're actually closing in on 7,000 subscribers. So thank you all very much. Everybody has been fantastic. Even from day one, guys like Leo, who remembers us back when we were all things Rangers. Okay, Leo is saying, so for Booch, we got a piece that we used on Andrew Kopp last season, and now we use the rest for Vladimir Tarasenko. Booch for Kopp and Tarasenko is not so bad. Yes, I agree with that 100%. Gauthier can't be replaced. Can't replace Goudreau. No, you can't. Gauthier to me still, I'm not exactly. I like what I've seen more out of him this year, but Julien Gauthier, if they can upgrade from Julien Gauthier, then really watch out, because Gauthier seems to be, all of his work is on the rush. Other than that, I don't really like what I see out of him. Second line, the kid line, and you know what? Right now they're playing like they're the first line. I agree with you on that, but Goody's going nowhere. He's got a no trade clause anyway. Subban ruined Blaze. I don't know, Mikey. I think Blay might not have achieved his peak, but all the best to him back in St. Louis where they had it. Yeah, John D. Lee, Drury's the GOAT. As of right now, well, let's see what it is. All right. Panarin and Trocheck don't mesh well together, and he really doesn't do anything on the power play. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, though. Trocheck and Panarin, but this is what I said at the beginning of the year. I would have had Trocheck as the third line center, and I would have had Philip Hedl with Artemi Panarin. But go on. Got to go with the vets. Okay, Zibanejad is going to have the brush up on his Russian. Actually, this is the second time somebody said that one. Cried Vinny and Veezy. I love that line. Actually, I do love that line. I know that people are kind of down on Kreider because he just notched his 21st goal of the season. He's nowhere near the pace he was last year, and he only has 4 power play goals in the season. But you know something? Sometimes that happens with his game. When you're always away from the puck, you don't get the rebounds, you don't get the deflections, and if the shot doesn't hit the net, what are you going to do? Patrick's saying, I think our team is playing good. The Trouba fight, throwing the helmet woke up this team, and I believe adding Terasenko will just elevate our top lines. I don't know why I couldn't read that one for a second. I do need my glasses. That was ridiculous. I'm sorry about that. 121, 134 of you are now in here. Thank you very much. All right. Kenneth is saying, how could you love the trade that brought Blay here for a budding star in Buchnevich? Well, here's the thing. The Buchnevich trade, no, I'm only loving this trade only because of now where this led down the road. Buchnevich, I still thought the Rangers were not going to be able to resign him, and I thought they were going to have to move him. You can go back to the very beginning of the videos on this page where that's just a lot of the stuff that I believed was going to happen. Look, I like Pavel Buchnevich, but I mean, there's a lot of people that think Pavel Buchnevich walked on water. I mean, he got to 20 goals and he had that birthday hat trick. Other than that, what else did he do for the Rangers? He was doing well. And again, I still think Buchnevich was still a guy the Rangers should have played a lot more in his early days. But Vigneault didn't want to do it. Then all the drama with David Quinn. But as much as I like Pavel Buchnevich, sometimes you just can't keep everybody. And one of the other guys at the same time that I said that they had to get rid of was Tony DeAngelo. And then Tony DeAngelo decided to make the Rangers' job a little bit easier, and he had to go. Romanell is saying, if they get Mott, then you have a fourth line of Goudreau, Veezy, and Mott, which is absolute fire. I agree with you on that. And by the way, that is exactly what David's saying right here. Goody goat. And I think it is going to be Tyler Mott. I think it is. So there we go. I agree. Let's go Rangers on that. And I already was focused on this one. Steven Engel saying, let's go Devils. Meyer time, baby. I don't believe that's official yet, but you guys are the front runner for him. Harper is a good 7th guy. Bobby Ganoush, I agree with you on that one. Hayek on waivers, goodbye. I've said before, I'll say it again. The only Hayek I even want at Madison Square Garden is Libor Hayek. Fortunately, I have reinforcements coming in right now, everybody, in about a moment. Bobby Ganoush is saying Mikula, better puck mover than Harper. If that's true, that's very good. Rangers Twitter just made it official. PK Sluban. Well, no, you can keep him on there. Don't worry about that. Though he's doing a great job with ESPN. I like what he's doing. The TNT guys blow away ESPN every single day. Bro, you're smoking edibles on HD. If you ain't alcohol goaltending Sorokin, I'll see the cup. Thanks, Patrick. Well, you know what? Sorokin's right there. I would hate to see those two guys in a playoff series together. That's going to be amazing. Great day for the Rangers to be a Rangers fan. Terrible day to be a Nets fan. Yeah. Hearing about the Kevin Durant trade, look, there are very few players in the NBA I can actually say that I respect. Kevin Durant's one of them. And I first guessed it. One of my friends is he was a Nets beat reporter. And I said to him right away, what are they doing with Kyrie and Durant? No, absolutely not. That's not going to be a good situation. Durant would have been perfect. You put him with Spencer Dinwiddie and it was D'Angelo Russell at the time. But then they got rid of why have guys that succeed for your team? All right, Lieber Hayek placed on waivers. Yes, Trocheck is really awesome all-around player, and he helps in all the areas that you need. Mark, like you said, with face-offs. Face-offs are so important, especially when you have struggled in the playoffs. After all, do not forget, that's the reason why Craig McTavish basically was a New York Ranger. Who else was part of the trade? Once again, Hunter Skinner, Sammy Blay, a first and a fourth. So, and in a moment, and here he is. I got him right now. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Anthony Lorocco. Anthony, hold on. I got you.
That fourth that you just mentioned, I just saw Arthur Staples say that pick becomes a 2024 third if the Rangers make the playoffs, which I would say there's a 90% chance they do. So it'll end up being a first and a 2024 third, Mark, to round out that deal.
Yeah. So I'm okay with that. There's Anthony's information. Sorry, everybody. I wanted to get a little bit of a solo spot for him. Right now, we have 145 people in the view on that one. So first off, Anthony, thank you.
Yeah.
You coming in at the right time. You're a lifesaver because I was totally riffing this entire time. But what's your thoughts on this, Anthony?
I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. Last night in our group chat, I texted you and Philk, which I said, and none of you responded, so I don't know if you didn't see it, but it was the article from Pagnota that said, this past off season, Tarasenko was willing to waive his no trade clause for the Rangers, Islanders, and Devils, and was just speculating on his future. So lo and behold, now Terasenko gets traded to the Rangers today. So I can't say I'm shocked, again, being that he was linked to the Rangers prior, and that people were hinting that the Blues were close to selling. So as for the trade itself, I think I said just as early as our show yesterday that I didn't think Tarasenko was returning a first round pick. I guess it was a combination of the Blues taking back Blais and them retaining 50% of Tarasenko's salary. That's why the Rangers had to give a first. I think if there was no salary retention or the Blues didn't take back salary, I think Tarasenko could have been had for a second and a middling prospect. But good trade for the Rangers. They have 2 first-round picks, so they still have one. And the one that's going to go to St. Louis is the lower one. The third, let's face it, chance of a third-round pick becoming anything aren't that great. Sammy Blais is terrible. And Hunter Skinner, again, chances that he develops into anything noteworthy isn't that great. And even if he did, he's probably, with the way the Rangers D is constructed, he was probably a good 3 years away from even making an impact if he had any at all. So I think it's a win for the Rangers. I think that not that I think Tarasenko is going to be a pure rental for them. He's coming off making $7.5 million. He'll probably, I don't think he'll get a raise, but I don't think he's also going to get a dramatic decrease. So I think his next contract will roughly be around $7 million again, which the Rangers can't afford. So they basically gave up, just a couple of pieces for a rental. So if he leaves, it won't do any long-term damage to the Rangers. So I really like it for him. Tarasenko, while having a little bit of a down year, he's still a prolific goal scorer, and I think he's going to help. Because I've always said the Rangers needed to take some pressure off, Zibanejad and Panarin and Fox, the guys who produce consistently. Heedle's come on as late, which is awesome, but they still needed some more out of their wingers. And Tarasenko is going to be a huge lift for them. And I think, as I said, the Islanders acquired Horvat and a bunch of other teams. It was their next move. The Rangers stepped up. I got to imagine, Mark, that the Devils are next. I've been beating the drum. I think it's going to be Timo time in New Jersey by the deadline in the next couple of weeks, and that will be their answer to the Rangers and Islanders moves. But it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. But again, I really do like the move for the Rangers.
By the way, if that is true and that actually happens, that's going to be a fantastic thing. This is actually one of the rare times all the teams in this area have been either within shouting distance of the playoffs or good in a long time. So you have the Devils right now. Their deadline cap space is only $2 million. Now, Meyer is making, and we're going to get back to the Rangers in a moment, everybody. But Meyer is making, he's making $6 right now. Was that $2 million prorate into them just sliding him right in?
Who, Meyer?
Yeah. They would have to
Yeah,
send some
everything's
money back
prorated.
too, right?
Everything's prorated, but even still, with only having 2 million, I think that the Devils will have to send some salary back to San Jose in the form of maybe Dawson Mercer or Miles Wood. They gotta send, or Sharon Govich. Someone's gonna have to go back to San Jose that makes a little bit of money, help them absorb Meyer. So, you know, and also don't forget they have to re-sign Jesper Bratt, Mark.
Yeah, and you can't let him go. So
Yeah,
that's another thing.
and
So if you're
the other interesting angle before we get back to the Rangers specifically, it was been widely speculated for a while that, when you talked about Patrick Kane, you also talked about the Rangers. Now that's no longer feasible. So where does this leave Patrick Kane? You gotta wonder where this is going to lead to, because again, the Rangers are always viewed upon as a favorite. So I gotta wonder. The Islanders were in on Terasenko, Mark. There was no secret. The Islanders were kicking tires on Tarasenko. So
and I thought he was going to be perfect for them.
If the Islanders keep winning here, I gotta believe that Lou's gonna kick tires on Patrick Kane and see if there's anything that could be worked out. But
I've said that, and also
Kane.
You
That's
finish
the biggest question mark now. Biggest question mark now is at the deadline, because Horvat, Tarasenko off the board, Meyer, Kane are the big two names left, and Meyer, as we all know, has been linked to New Jersey. So I'm really curious where this leaves Patrick Kane.
All right, because by the way, Jay, I see your comment that's right here. We're going to get to that in a moment. I still think you can convince Patrick Kane to go to the Carolina Hurricanes. You're talking about a team that's within shouting distance of a Stanley Cup. They needed power play help in the past, and their power play this season, I'll look up that numbers while we're still talking, but that would be one thing I would say for Patrick Kane. I also don't think Patrick Kane needs to move, but he doesn't. He's accomplished everything he's needed to do in his career. And the Carolina Hurricanes are 22nd in the NHL on the power play. If I was Don Waddell, I'm on the phone calling up Patrick Kane right now. I mean, first I'd talk to the GM over there, and then I'm calling up Patrick Kane. By the way, Bobby Ganoush, I agree. You got to keep the kid line together. It's not a meritocracy, except when it always is. This is the comment I wanted to get with this one, Anthony. What do you think about this? I'm going to get to every single player on that one, unfortunately. Now, any chance the Rangers trade for some sandpaper players like Domi, Lawson Krause, Tanner Jeannot, top 9 forwards with grit and skill, and because you need grit and skill for the playoffs. I still think you're looking at Tyler Mott. Lawson Krause just signed an extension. There's no way he's going to do that. Domi's going to go for a much higher pick because he's the leading scorer in Chicago right now, not Patrick Kane, unless that changed in the last couple of days. And then the last one is Tanner Jeannot. I don't see Tanner Jeannot getting moved. He's an RFA. What do you think?
Well, after today's move, according to Cap Friendly, the Rangers only have $415,000 of deadline cap space.
Yep.
So this right here is total fantasy with $415,000 of cap space. I don't care what Chicago retains. You're not fitting Patrick Kane. So even lesser players, it's going to be a little challenging. I mean, yeah, if a guy only makes $1 million prorated, they can make that work. But any big ticket guys with that amount of cap space, Mark, it's gonna be hard to add. But yeah, they could look at a Tyler Mott again. A player like that, I think, could easily still be targeted. They would just have to send some salary back to make it work. But again, the Terasenko acquisition kind of takes him out of the running of doing anything major at this point.
That might knock out Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yeah, it does knock out Tyler Bertuzzi because he makes $4.5 million on the cap. And again, when you have right now deadline cap space, $415K, that's simply not going to work unless you do heavy lifting, like I said, with sending a lot of salary back the other way. And at this point now, Mark, there's really no one left on the Rangers roster that could feasibly be moved to accomplish that. Sammy Blais was the easiest guy. He made over $1 million and he was expendable. Every other player that's on the Rangers roster right now that makes any kind of serious money is not being moved. Everybody that makes peanuts, it's not going to move the needle enough. Like moving Julien Gauthier isn't going to help you fit in a big salary. He only makes $800 and something thousand a year. So
Yeah.
I gotta believe that they will look to make an addition to their bottom six, though, for sure.
Well, the guy that I know is going to be expendable is Vitaly Kravtsov, and they're probably going to move him to get an asset back, something. Maybe a third-round draft pick. I don't really foresee much you're going to get out of Vitaly Kravtsov, but moving him off the roster would get off $875,000. That gets you Tyler Mott very easily. And
yeah, because a move like that is very realistic. But I think that's the type of move they're going to be looking to make. I don't think they're going to be looking to make a Tyler Bertuzzi type of acquisition at this point.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be a little bit. So, I mean, the Rangers could conceivably be done except for just getting one more fourth liner right now. Because you look at their lineup, that's a solid lineup, Anthony. That I'll take that to war right now any day.
It absolutely is. And Terasenko and Panarin, they clearly are comfortable with each other. Saw them chatting up at the All-Star game, and they speak the same language. I think they'll mesh really well. So it's a great addition for the Rangers, no doubt about it, especially for what they gave up. As for this question, again, so the Rangers, I believe, have $16 million of cap space to work with this offseason. Filipino is going to get 5.5. Keandre Miller is going to get about, I would say, roughly around the same 5 million. So you're already talking, let's just say, 11 million gone of that 16. That leaves you with $5 million. And you still have to
re-sign Lafreniere.
Lafreniere, and not only that, but then sprinkle in a backup goalie or make any other additions, tweaks to the roster too. That will cost money. So Tarasenko is going to require likely $6 to $7 million a year. I just don't see how they would fit that unless they moved someone with salary like Ryan Lindgren or someone that made significant salary.
And by the way, Andrew, first time I'm seeing you on these. Welcome to the show. And yeah, thanks for the update on that one. Great trade preventing Boston from getting him. So, yeah.
I don't think Boston was in the market for him. I think they're more in the market for Ryan O'Reilly, Jonathan Taves. They were in the market for Bo Horvat. I'm not sure if they were looking for a Vladimir Tarasenko type player on the wing. I think they wanted help up the middle.
Sorry, Scotty. I was trying to get on as fast as possible. I wasn't even thinking about anything. This, by the way, great page that's always run. Scott, we are Blue Shirt Nation. Great trade again. Tyler saying biggest thing here is that we still have Kravy to flip him next month. Yes. Music is saying Tarasenko only has 10 goals. Do you look at Anthony? Do you look at it and think what Tarasenko did this year with less time playing? Only 29 points so far, 10 goals, 19 assists. Or do you look at it last year and say he had 82 points last year, so you got to figure he's going to get back to normal?
Yeah, I mean, I think the player he is this year isn't who he is. I think he's something closer to that 70-point guy. He's a legitimate sniper, and I think he's going to be reinvigorated playing with Artemi Panarin on the Rangers. Clearly he wanted to come to New York. I think he fits well. I think he's a great player. Chris Drury went out and made a good trade because again, he didn't give up anything of real significance to get him. He gave up a first round pick, which you never like to do, but they still have a first round pick. So
yeah.
And then again, I'm not concerned about Hunter Skinner so I think it's a great trade for the Rangers. It's just I think you have to realize the fact that he likely is going to be a pure rental, which again, you didn't give up a lot to get him, so it's not the end of the world if he walks at the end of the year.
Johnny Red just answering this one. I think one of the reasons why everybody kind of likes Tyler Mott is because he played really well for the Rangers, both in the playoffs and down the stretch before he got that injury in that Pittsburgh game on a little bit of a questionable hit, but that was a different story. Leo was saying Mikola is a huge body, as we said, 6'4", 209. His game is close to Yanni Hakanpää for Dallas. Very reliable. Saw him for the first time in Finland's championship. Very reliable. And if that's the case, then the Rangers just short up their back end even more. as my friend Scott is really hammering me right now. And Bobby, I agree with that. Everybody stop crying about the Booch trade. It's not. It's just. I don't. What was this great career Pavel Buchnevich had? I mean, it's not Matt Zuccarello, who the Rangers did have to trade because they were going into a rebuild. And I still, like, Anthony, I go back to a Twitter poll that I saw that I nearly went ballistic on. Somebody said, what was the worst trade for you to get over? And it was Pavel Buchnevich, Matt Zuccarello, Marc Messier, or player leaving, I should say, or Jean Rattel. And first off, where was Brian Leach on that? But still, it drives me crazy. I mean, I understand we all have favorites, but come on. All right. David says, nope, we got to go back to that again. I'm going to have to start skipping those guys. There's no chance they can re-sign him.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to take no money.
He wants to do pro bono. He's gonna play pro bono.
Yeah, that's it. Can they pay him in morning? Don't you mean money? No, we don't. All right, conditions. Okay, as that was what you just mentioned just now, what Leo said. Wow. Clash is saying apparently the asking prices for Meyer and Kane are too high, especially with Kane's surgery. Drew's a mad scientist, just me, but Meyer might go to the Isles, and Kane, I don't know where he goes.
Well, I mean, I would listen. I would love if Timo Meyer, if it became Timo time on Long Island, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I think the Devils can offer more. So I would be really shocked. Although I got into a little bit of a discussion, Mark, with a guy on Islander Mania, which is a post I post on. But when talking about Meyer, he's like, oh, other teams can offer a lot more than the Islanders, so I don't see it happening. But I could tell you, Mark, before like Bo Horvat was traded, I can guarantee you if there was an Islander fan that proposed, Beauvillier, who's kind of stalled, Ratty, who's a pretty good prospect and a first round pick, they would be like, oh, well, other teams can easily top that. And then it turns out that obviously that's the offer that the Canucks took. And the point being is, as fans, sorry about these dogs, guys. As fans, we don't know. General managers and scouting staffs could value different players for whatever reason. For all we know, the Canucks could have loved Ratu in his draft year so much, and that's the guy they wanted. So the point I made to this guy with Timo Meyer is, like, for instance, a first round pick, William Dufour and Samuel Bolduc. You think, okay, teams can beat that, yes. But again, it goes back to, we as fans don't know what other teams, what they value and how much they value a player. For all we know, San Jose could really value those pieces. So that's just the point I wanted to make, but because he brought it up. But so the original question, no, I don't think Timo Meyer is going to go to the Islanders just because of assets. I think he's going to end up in Jersey. But again, really, you never know at the end of the day.
Oh, Meyer is a huge piece, and the RFA status, I still think you can delay a trade to draft night if they really wanted to. Now, you've told me that's crazy, that they're going to move him, but you could still do that. You get 16 more teams in the mix if you really wanted to.
On Meyer? Yeah,
on Meyer.
I think they're going to get a really good offer for him now, so I don't see any reason why they're going to hold off on that.
All right, and Rod is asking, Kane or Taves to the Devils now? I think if they go for Meyer, they're going to be out on one of those. Where do you see Jonathan Taves going? Is he going to go home to Winnipeg?
So as for Kane, Rod, I haven't heard him linked to the Devils at all. I think the Devils are more in the aspect of not giving up assets for a rental, which is why Timo Meyer fits perfectly. So I don't think Kane goes to New Jersey. As for Taves, I think Taves, he's been linked to Winnipeg. I see him going to Winnipeg. I could see him going to Colorado. I could see him going to Boston. I don't think Jonathan Taves is waiving his no trade to go to New Jersey. So I don't see that. I think he ends up in either Boston, Colorado, or Winnipeg would be my three guesses right now for Jonathan Taves. As for Patrick Kane, Mark, I saw this question here. Yeah, he's from Buffalo, but again, Buffalo is they're fighting for a playoff spot too. And for me, this year, Mark, for Buffalo is house money. I don't think anyone expected them to be at the level they are right now. So I think they should stay the course. Don't give up the assets for a guy you could possibly sign in free agency. He's your hometown team. So I don't see Kane going to Buffalo, but I think in the summertime, I think there's a chance that maybe he would consider them, but I don't see it happening right now.
Dean is saying, by the way, Dean, great to see you for a while. I haven't seen your name up there, but he's saying High Green Wave potentially 1.6 million on the cap once he goes through. Barbashev would be a good addition too. But again, there's I would have to say for the Buffalo Sabres, Anthony, definitely not getting Kane right now when you can get him for nothing in the summer, potentially. And that's if he wants to go home. Who says he wants to go home? Might want to stay with the Blackhawks.
And that still can't be discounted too. He might, but I was 50-50 on that. But now, like I said yesterday, I'm more so 60-40 that he moves.
This one is only sad for this moment because thanks for asking my question. First off, thank you for giving us a question. Hope they never move Lindgren. I really hope so too. But he's one of few Rangers that they have that don't have no move clauses.
Yep.
I know. There's a couple statements on here for I'll only finish this one sentence and we'll get to that comment. There's a couple people on here saying about Barclay Goodrow. The Rangers are going to need Barclay Goodrow. He's one of their anchors in their bottom six. That's their heart and soul type of players, penalty killer, grind it out type of guys. I mean, you saw when Goodrow came back late in the playoffs and suddenly the Rangers took off. So don't forget they beat Tampa for 2 games. That was good. Rylan, you're right about this though. As far as St. Louis goes, a first round draft pick, meh.
I don't see. I disagree. Actually, I think they had a guy that's wanted out for quite some time. Was a free agent. Clearly, they're not retaining him. And they got a first round pick for him back. A middling prospect, another pick. So I don't think it was a bad trade. I mean, unless you had the mindset that Terasenko was going to return a Bo Horvat type package, then yeah, I guess I could see why you would think that, but that was never on the table. So I actually think St. Louis did pretty good in the trade, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, there you go. So, I mean, because sometimes you can't help but look at it and just say Sammy Blais, and then that's it.
He says, do you think the Rangers are going to make any more trades? I do. I do. I think they're going to make a depth move, like I'm not saying Tyler Mott specifically, but a Tyler Mott type of move like they did last season. I don't think right now in their top 6, I don't see any need or hole to really make some sort of big move at this point. And then when you consider the cap too, I just don't see it happening.
I agree with you 100% on that. I think their lineup is almost set for the playoffs. And one thing I talked about at the beginning of this, Anthony, shot across the bow. They get the Carolina Hurricanes on Saturday. They kind of want to go to Carolina and go, hey, we're the ones that beat you last year, not the other way around. And Carolina, they're going to be wanting to play their most Carolina style hockey game to go. There's a reason why they're winning the division.
And I think Carolina also was probably in the market for Tarasenko, whether or not, as I said earlier to Phil, if he would have waived to go to Carolina. But I think Carolina was in the mix there, and I think now they're going to probably shift their attention. Again, they could be kicking tires on Patrick Kane, but I don't honestly. Even though Hurricanes are really good, Mark, there are other things that go into deciding where you want to get traded to, and I don't think Patrick Kane is going to waive to go play in Carolina. I mean, do you get that vibe? I mean, I don't get that vibe that Patrick Kane wants to play in Carolina. That's just my guess, and I could be
I
totally
don't
wrong.
get that vibe. What you would have to do is you would have to try to sell him on it. You would have to agree to something in place and then give him like a couple days or a phone call to be like, hey, Patrick, do you want to come over here? Because, I mean, they're a real good team. They're a really good team. So why wouldn't you want to go? And Carolina ain't that bad of a place to go to. So that's another one.
Oh.
Vlad, Music is saying Vlad hasn't been Vlad for a while, it seems. Bad production this year, not to mention many shoulder injuries. Yeah, but they don't need Vladimir Tarasenko to be the guy carrying the team. They need Vladimir Tarasenko to be even half of what he was. That would be fine. Because, again, 82 points last year, Anthony. That is nothing to shake a stick at.
No, not at all. I also think Carolina might also shift their focus to another Blues forward, and Ivan Barbashev. I could see them going for Ryan O'Reilly, for sure. I mean, listen, let's not be fooled. The Hurricanes are going to do something before a deadline. It's a fact. It's just a matter of what they do. So.
And going through some more of your comments right now. Jay was asking the same thing about Kane going to Buffalo. But again, that Kane going to Buffalo is a comparison to the Rangers and Brad Richards. It was going to happen, but they didn't do it at the 2011 deadline. They waited for the 2011 offseason. Well, yeah, no. Yeah, it is Ratu, yes.
Ratu. Yeah, Ratu.
Yeah. And then they've been screwing with us in North America of how to pronounce it. Because then he spelled it Roddy, but then even Sam Rosen was calling him Ratty for a little bit.
Yeah.
Rick Nash in 2014, 7 goals, 10 assists. Actually, I think it was much better than that in 2014. I just don't. Maybe that was the playoffs. It just. Anyway,
I can tell you, Mark. I think the guys who do the telecast all day long on trade deadline day are probably, punching walls right now that Horvat and Terasenko are already moved because they need something to talk about in the deadline, and you have two of the bigger guys. I would say number 1 and probably number 4 in Tarasenko already off the board.
Right, and guys like us who, as I put down here just a second ago, that we announced it last night. We're doing a trade deadline special. It is going to be us. Hopefully, John will come in for an hour or however much he can. But we're going to be doing a trade deadline special that day, everybody. So come on down, check us out.
We all love trades. We all love trades, but please, no more until the deadline, Mark.
Well, your boy screwed it all up because all of a sudden now.
So Rod X, I've actually heard Besser's name linked to New Jersey, as well as Timo Meier. I haven't really heard for the Islanders, but I mean it's not impossible, but I don't think it would happen. And as for the Rangers, again, cap space. Although, Mark, the Islanders do have a little over $8.9 million of deadline cap space, so. Lou is going to conjure up something. I'm almost 95% sure of that. What? I don't know, but he ain't done. Done.
As Steven is pointing out right here, that great trade to get a D-man too. That is what is also important. That's what can't be overlooked. I know I was a little bit foggy on him to start because I just thought it was Terasenko, and then I heard something about Nikola later on, but still. Hopefully for Bertuzzi that would be in there because that was a video that we just had scheduled to go out right now. Yay, that's always good for something. Best in New Jersey, that would be good. If that
happened, then they're not going to be in the market for Meier, in which case I have no idea where Meier would go at that point, to be honest with you.
Here's the other thing, and it's what Rod's bringing up right now because they just announced this today.
Yeah.
Jack Hughes sounds like he's going to miss some time potentially. They're going to be big players if that's true. I think also if you're talking that he's on IR and they could keep him out for the rest of the season and then just bring him on, do like a Kucherov, yeah, that could also work. But I mean, the hard part for Jack Hughes is I made the comment on our Big Apple Hockey Twitter. This is his annual injury that he gets, and hopefully he could shake these off because Jack Hughes, the comments Wayne Gretzky said about him this week, Anthony, that he could challenge McDavid at some point.
Yeah,
that's pretty high
he's
praise.
Really yeah, and the Devils are going to miss him. And I'm sure of it. They're good. They're going to do something, whether it be Besser or Meyer. They're going to make a move. I just think, when you have to re-sign Jesper Bratt next season, Timo Meyer $8.5 million is a challenge, Mark. It really is. So
yeah,
I'm not really sure, how that or where that will go.
And again, you re-sign Bratt. You re-sign your guy because you already know what you're getting. Sometimes you don't know what you're getting with other guys. Vladimir is going to be huge for us. Once again, DP, it's Hunter Skinner, Sammy Blay, and a first and a fourth. 208 of you are still watching us right now. Thank you guys very much. We're going to riff on a little bit of trade deadline talk right now. And of course, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Appease the YouTube gods. We need to get in that algorithm. Or there's always the algae rhythm.
You've been banging this drum for a while now.
Well, because again, he's a guy you already know. You know that he that he can actually just fit in well with the New York Rangers. Why not just go get him? They had him last year. So that's why it's okay to do that. Ooh, State of Survival saying I think the Leafs might get Ryan O'Reilly. If that's true, do they finally win a first round series, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's the type of player they've been lacking for a while now. ROR, he's going to be, like I said, he's going to be sought after for sure by the Bruins, the Avalanche, the Leafs, similar teams that are going to be in it for Jonathan Taves. I think there's a good chance that the Leafs could make a move like that. But off the top of my head, I would have to look. I don't know how much cap space the Leafs have at the deadline, though. So
I can do that for you right now. I have the window
probably
open.
Need some salary retention, or send salary back the other way. But I do agree. Yeah, Ryan O'Reilly would fit the Leafs pretty well.
Yeah, 296,000 is what they got in deadline cap space. They do not have a second rounder in 2023 and 24. They have a third rounder, but hold on, that's a conditional draft pick. That stop me if you heard this one, Anthony. It's a conditional draft pick held by the Arizona Coyotes. That if let's see if if Toronto ends up, it was for Scott Wedgwood. Is that right? But anyway, no, if Arizona is not giving up that draft pick, they're stockpiling every single one of their assets. So the Maple Leafs might have to part with a first rounder again. They do have Ottawa's third rounder, though, Anthony.
Yes. They could make it work. I mean, I think what did I predict, Mark, on my predictions of
let's go to these right now, everybody. We're just gonna hide all the comments. This was originally Anthony's predictions for where he has everybody going. Let me get that banner out of there too. Where
I had RR to Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, because you said reacquiring him was where you said he was going to go.
So I'm wrong on Tarasenko. I had the Rangers getting the wrong St. Louis Blue. I had them getting his Barbashev. But I'm already 0 for 1 there. All right. Well, we'll see.
Hey, you know what? You know what? It takes stones to put it all out there. So to
answer this question, right now I think the Devils are solidly in second. I think we said they're 6 points out of the Rangers. Obviously, that could change with
4 points now.
But yeah, the 2-3 matchup play each other, so it's very possible. But again, you never know. I mean, on the flip side of it, the Rangers are only 4 points up on Washington, so nothing's set in stone. But if
6 points now,
last night. Yeah. If I'm a betting man, which I am a betting man, I would say, yeah, that will likely be the 2-3 matchup, unless, the Rangers get caught by the Penguins or Capitals or Islanders. But yeah, I would say there's a good chance that ends up being the first round matchup.
Musics, I like this question. I'm going to go back to that in a minute. Rod is saying right here, let's go with this one, Anthony. Rumor has it that the Canes are looking at JT Miller. JT Miller just signed
He did.
He just signed an extension.
Contract, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I want to say it's $9 million. I just wanted to go back and double check it. Sorry, it's $8 million.
That would be quite the about face if they traded him after signing that contract. But I could see that. I could see that happening, based on how things went in Vancouver. But I don't know. I mean, if gun to my head, I would say Shen and Besser, I would think, would be the next two players to leave Vancouver if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, because I mean, JT Miller, look, the one thing about him is he doesn't have no trade clause in this contract. His extension, that's got no trade clauses, no move clause to 2027.
I'm not sold on Miller leaving. Brian X, he's old. I'm assuming is in reference to Tarasenko. He's not that old. He's 30? He's 31, I think. Vladimir Tarasenko.
Yeah, I think it is 31. Go in there right now. Double check it.
Do I think there'll be more trades? Yes, I do. I think the Rangers are a little handcuffed what they could do in terms of like major moves, but I do think they're going to add more depth to their lineup at the forward position.
And it's going to be a grinded out type of forward, bottom six, because that's where you always have to shore up. Every single playoff run, I always say that. Yeah, that's the one. Anthony,
the Rangers good enough to win the cup. I mean, the thing about the Stanley Cup playoffs is all you have to do is get in, and then anything can happen. So, could they? Sure, but right now, and this is just my opinion, but right now, I think the teams that I think could realistically win a Stanley Cup are Boston, Carolina. Even though Colorado are at the bottom in terms of the playoff picture in the West, I still got to give them, credit just because they won it last year. So I'll include them. And I mean, those are really my three teams that I could see winning the cup right now: Boston, Carolina.
I'm going to add Dallas.
Yes, Dallas.
And
yes,
I will Dallas.
Yeah.
And I will add the New York Rangers, because the New York Rangers did make it to the third round. They were my pick to come out of the Eastern Conference at the beginning of the year. I did not foresee this trade. I still think they win the goaltending matchup against every team except for two, where I'll say they have draws and they don't outright win the matchup. And you know which teams they are. One of them is a jersey you wear, Anthony, and the other one is the team that knocked them out last year.
Is he called? So is his name the Thriller by any chance?
It could be the Thriller. It could be Ilya the Thriller. Because I mean, and the only thing I'd say about Sorokin versus Shesterkin is Shesterkin right now has got the experience of being in the playoffs with the load on him. Sorokin, because again, I thought the first 4 games of the playoffs last year, I thought Igor was gassed. And then he found his second win.
Sorokin does have playoff experience. He beat the Penguins pretty much single-handedly in round. Remember? You ready to forget that? You did, didn't you?
When?
He beat the Penguins in what was it? Was it the bubble? No, it wasn't the bubble. It was when they had fans back again in the stadium. So 2021.
That was Sorokin?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you know what? Oh my goodness, I forgot all about that. Yeah, 2021, the second run. So yeah, I forgot all about that for a second. So I guess he does have, but you know what? But that's different. That's Varlamov that was doing it. Sorokin was the difference in that series. Varlamov was not winning that first round series against Penguins. Yes, I did forget. I remember now. Thank you. But yeah, so again, I do think, yes, I do think that it was right there. I like your picks, Anthony. They're pretty good. Meyer is definitely going to go to New Jersey.
And you know what, Mark? Before Horvat, because I think I made those picks after the Horvat trade, but before Horvat got traded, I was going to do those, and I was going to make like a homer pick, and put Bo Horvat there for the Islanders. Oddly enough, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't think Big Lou is going to do that. And then he ended up doing. I would have had one in my back pocket already, not just one wrong one. So, but that's what I get. But thank you anyway.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think this is Luca. I understand what you're saying, and I actually don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. I understand what everyone's saying because there's the no move clause for 4 years, and Vinny Trocheck, I think, is going to be an integral part to the Rangers moving forward. And you're talking about a guy that now you can use him on the third line, who's going to be a matchup center. Now they're making a shutdown line for the Rangers. They did not have that last year. They didn't have a line that they sent out, and
he's gonna make a good $5.5 million on his next contract. And I think this is the reason why they didn't want to go for Meyer. I think San Jose would have demanded a player like Hedl in return.
Yeah,
Rangers
exactly.
If Hedl was a winger, I think maybe they would consider it, because as good as Hedl's playing, Timo Meyer's clearly the better player. I think they maybe would have done it, but that being that Hedl's a center and would have hurt their depth, I think that's one of the main reasons why they didn't want to send Philip Hedl anywhere.
By the way, sorry, Anthony, I go back to this. Anta Pettigman.
I don't know. You might want to tell Sean that I don't. As much as Lou's not a fan of you, I don't think he's really much of a fan of mine.
No.
So I don't think he'd back anything I do.
Well, if he saw the last video, he'd probably like us a little bit better. Where we're
really can't figure out. We really can't figure out which one of us were the ones, the reason why he axed the endorsement deal. It could have been me for that rant I went on him shortly before Romanov's rep said he couldn't do it, or it could have been you for you mocking him. I don't know which it was, but whatever it was.
We did get it on a couple different forms, but we could always get it on back. By the way, DP is saying right here, Anthony, that McElrath was picked in the 2011 draft instead of Vladimir Tarasenko. That is correct. And this is sort of righting the wrongs of that one, because, oh my goodness, that was a terrible draft for the Rangers. Clayton, he's a UFA at the end of the summer, but that's not really a big deal. Duclair would be a little bit too much. So let's go to Stevens one. Do the moves by the Islanders and the Rangers get them past Boston and the Hurricanes? I say no. Coming from a diehard Islanders fan, Anthony, what do you think?
So, I think it's no secret that Ilya Sorokin and Igor Shesterkin are two of the best goalies in the league, despite Shesterkin's stats not being up where Sorokin's are, but he still is. So with that said, Mark, I think either of these goalies are capable of stealing a series. But here's the other problem. Bruins are the best team in the league, and they have Linus Ullmark in net, who I don't think is as good as I think he's just the product of the environment that he plays in. But despite that, you got to give him his due. And the Bruins are a really good team that don't give up much. So that kind of counteracts what Shesterkin and Sorokin can do for the Islanders. So now it's level again. And from there, the Bruins are simply the better team. So personally, I think the Bruins would beat both of them in a playoff series. And this is coming from an Islander fan who saw his Islanders beat the same exact Bruins team core in 2021. I mean, really is. The only difference is Linus Ullmark in net instead of Tuukka Rask. They had Bergeron, Marchand, Krejci, McAvoy, Hall. All those guys are the same. But despite
with all due respect to Lane Lambert, that team was much better coached by Barry Trotz.
Yeah. But no, I think the Bruins would beat both of the Rangers and the Islanders in the first round.
Here's my question for you, and I kind of want to throw this out for us at some point on our Bar Talk segments. By the way, if anybody's new to this, we actually have a long form podcast every single Wednesday. Check us out. Usually it's around 6 o'clock, and you can see everything on YouTube. All right. Well, I'm going to have to keep shilling for a second then. Because actually our Bar Talk segment, which usually where we gauge a bunch of NHL topics, and we gauge it on confidence based on our choice of drink. Are you buying a round? Are you taking a beer? Are you having a shot? And right now I'm going to buy, if the question was the New York Rangers are a Stanley Cup contender right now, absolutely. I think they are. I'm buying around on this one. So, as a matter of fact, fuck it, I'm going to go grab the graphic. But Here's one question I have for you. Is it possible you think the Bruins might have peaked too early?
No.
Okay.
They're a team I think that's built for the playoffs.
All right. Let's get to the next one.
I don't see this. I'll tell you why. Their goaltending is atrocious. That's why.
There's only one team that has they have the worst goaltending out of any playoff position team. The only team that even comes close to their numbers is Seattle. Seattle is awful in net. We were just talking about them. They need to upgrade their goaltending. We still have 185 of you watching right now with us. Everybody, thank you very much. We have 84 likes. Thank you, because we need to get those likes up because we need to spread around this virus everywhere. I did see one that was right here a second ago. Who has a better chance to win the cup right now, Anthony? The Islanders or the Leafs?
As much as I want to say the Islanders, it's the Leafs. I mean, the Leafs are in a playoff spot right now, and so for that reason alone, I'm going to say the Leafs. But then again, they always choke in the first round, so there's that too.
I think in defense of the Toronto Maple Leafs, you choke too if you had to constantly face Boston and Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, the real blemish on them. And by the way, J-Rock, welcome to the show. Blues fan here. Tarasenko will be motivated joining the New York Rangers, coming off an injury and having a trade request for over 1.5 years. Best of luck, Vladdy. Well, you know what? St. Louis, always great fans. By the way, going to be seeing a Cardinals game this summer out in St. Louis. I can't wait for that. Also, can't wait. I try to do a Marc on the road to go around and travel to different arenas. So, hey, got to grab you sometime, Anthony. Go on one of those. But yeah, so
I'm laughing at the comments.
This has got to motivate him to finally be rid of St. Louis, by the way. Patrick 100% right on this one. Be careful what you say about Lambert. We don't want to get whacked. I definitely don't want to get whacked. I actually found a good girl to date.
Oh, and like I said, Lou already doesn't like you to begin with, so you gotta tread easily there, Marc.
Yeah.
Walk the fine line.
But I do have to say, though, as much as the Leafs have scorers, when you got somebody like Sorokin in net, there's your equalizer.
Yeah, definitely.
Sean has got this point that he brings up right here, Anthony. Carolina burns out every playoffs. Their style of play is too much high endurance and for consistency in the playoff atmosphere. I don't think he's wrong, though.
No, he's not. He's not wrong. But I think this is the year that they could go pretty far. I do. I really like the makeup of the team.
Depends. It all comes down to goaltending, Anthony. I say it all the time. Comes down to goaltending.
Goaltending is huge.
Everybody wants to just say with the New York Rangers, they want to, the Rangers, the only reason why they got past Pittsburgh is because they had Louis Domingue in net. No, you had Tristan Jarry in Game 7. And again, I repeat this yet again, Anthony, the Penguins had a 2-goal lead in Games 5 and Game 6, and even the lead in Game 7 in the third period, and they did not hold on. They were not going to beat the Rangers in that series. And for that matter, the Rangers had injuries in the first 4 games and that controversial call in Game 1. But then we go over to the Carolina series. I don't think it matters who the Carolina Hurricanes have in net, because Ronta, I don't think, gave up a weak goal until Game 6.
You're right.
There you go. All right. No, I'm not calling Big Lou.
Marc, we have 182 people here. I mean, some of them don't know our backstory exactly. I want you to explain to our audience, of people who are not in the loop right now, why does Big Lou not like you? Tell the story.
Well, also I accidentally called him up because a certain co-host of mine told me it was Marty St. Louis, and then I blathered like an idiot and then I went off. So hopefully, Lou will end up forgiving me with all the nice things I've said about it.
That wasn't good enough. You half-assed it, just like Josh Bailey does on half of his shifts. Give people better context. So our third member of our show, it was his he's a huge Martin St. Louis fan, and as a surprise, we wanted to get Martin St. Louis on the show for him and surprise him. So me, as the one who gets the guests to come on our show, I decided to mess around with Marc a little bit, and I had told him that St. Louis had wanted to speak to our producer and just get more information about our show, which wasn't true. St. Louis had already got back to me and explained that he couldn't do it, maybe some other time. But I didn't tell Marc that. I said he wanted more information and he wanted him to call him. So I instead of giving him St. Louis' number, which I had no reason to because he already said no, I gave Marc Lou Lamoriello's phone number, and I told him that it was Martin St. Louis. So Marc wanted St. Louis to come on for our friend, so he called up Big Lou unknowingly, and kind of rambled and sounded like an idiot because as it is, he was nervous to speak to Martin St. Louis. Little he was speaking to Big Lou, and he just rambled, So that's, and why don't you tell him what Lou said to you when you were rambling?
Who's this? Who are you looking for? And I, to be honest, it's all a little bit of a blur because I completely was just like, I'm not a guy that talks on the phone anyway. I know I exude some confidence here while I'm doing this, but I am not a phone guy. I hate talking on the phone unless I'm taking an order at work, but that's about it. By the way, if you want good Super Bowl wings, go to Boss Brokers. Might as well shill for my actual job as well. So there was a great comment that I need to get over to that I just saw a second ago, Anthony. Yeah, Kevin Hayes went that year. What do you got? I think he definitely was seeing that. Oh wait, first SXRGS. I think the Kraken will have to make a move for Thatcher Demko at the deadline. That would really help their goaltending. 2 moves we said last night for them. If check out the bar talk segment that we have that we just put on there, but they have to upgrade their goaltending. It's if Thatcher Demko, you can get him, go get him, by the way. But there are teams that really need to get on that phone and just go get John Gibson. Anaheim's been waiting to find a situation to trade him. Go get John Gibson.
Marc, this is a good question.
That would be great if Lou actually did know that story because that would help so much for me.
Lou did not know the backstory, clearly. So to give more context, Marc is just leaving you guys out to dry with details here. The other reason why Lou hates him is because I had secured a sponsorship deal with Alexander Romanov through his agency, Gold Star Hockey, and included he was going to make a social media post wearing this Big Apple hockey hat and telling people, on his Instagram to go check us out and follow us. And it was all ready to go. I actually have the video still on my phone because he sent it to me just to okay it before he posted it. Is this all good? And then before he was about to post it, his rep contacted me and said someone in the Islanders organization, I guess, looked at our channel and saw some stuff they didn't like, aka Marc or maybe even myself being critical of Lou Lamoriello, and the deal got ex-nayed, and it didn't happen. So that was just something else that Lou does not like Marc for. So, but Marc obviously didn't tell you guys that. I don't know why, but yeah. So there's Lou and Marc have a lot of history, and Marc probably cost us Alexander Romanov being a sponsor for our brand. There you go.
Well, hopefully, if Lou goes out a winner, then he might forgive us on that one. LFC 120 1225. Sorry. I want the current playoff structure to remain in the short term so I could watch the Bruins and the Leafs and Tampa beat each other up until the conference finals. And you know what? That's actually one of the big things. Gary Bettman was asked about the playoff structure in his interview with NHL Network, or NHL Radio, I should say, before the All-Star game. And Gary Bettman is firm that he thinks the structure is fine the way it is. So It's going to stay.
Yeah,
For all the people that want 1 to 8 to come back, it's not. Go ahead, Ant.
They need to go back to 1 versus 8. Crosby even advocated for that. They advocate. He said that he likes the 1 versus 8, and I think that's what they need to do.
They want divisional rivalries. That's what they do, and it's amazing because they've been doing this 10 years, and the Rangers and Islanders still, and the Devils for that matter, they still haven't played in a playoff series. Well, the Rangers and Islanders since '94, the Devils since 2012. So all those are going to be interesting. Whoa.
So I just this is why I highlighted this, because I just wanted to get some more clarification. Is this meant to be a guess or an opinion? Because I'm looking at my Twitter and there's nothing about this at all. Like literally nothing. So yeah, if you just want to clarify that, because I don't see anything.
Athletic is saying that a Bruins trade for Chikrin would be expensive.
Yeah, there's nothing. So that's why I don't see that.
I know. I'm looking at my Twitter right now too, going through this.
She says I just saw it. I just saw it on Twitter. I mean, I don't see anything on my Twitter. Who was? I mean, who was it? Because at this time of year, you got to be careful. There's a lot of parody accounts, like fakes, and then there's also, nobodies who try to pretend like they have sources and say, "Oh, this is happening." So,
yeah, I get conned on a lot of that because I'm not a real Twitter savvy guru. I do think the Rangers they still just got to get another depth forward. We were talking about a bunch of those. Let's go back to some of your comments right now. And so I actually do like this playoff format. I still think it's good. Iceman is saying now we need Max Domi for $3 million and the second line, and we're in good shape. I think they're fine on the second line. The second line is the kid line. Third line will then be the that shutdown line that they're using of Trocheck, Kreider, and Vesey. And now the last thing is I think you just need a good fourth liner. I'd still love it if it was like somebody bigger like Bertuzzi. Max Domi, I never really liked Max Domi's game. What do you think, Anthony?
Yeah, Max Domi is kind of to me. I think he's more of like a middle six forward now. I don't really think he moves the needle. I mean, he's not a bad depth piece if you want to put him on the third line, but I don't think he's going to make a huge difference.
We got from Just Me Again. Molly Walker says Terasenko and Mikko will play tomorrow night. That's always a good thing.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
I mean, it's obvious they have ample time to get here for the trade. So, and like I said, Anthony, they got 3 days off after that. That's 3 days of practice. That's another good thing for teams.
Yep.
Kind of like the Islanders. The Islanders getting Vancouver tonight. I think the Islanders going to whip Vancouver. So
they gotta. I mean, they got to keep this going. A win tonight, Marks puts them in the first wild card spot, bumping. Getting them into a playoff spot with a win. So,
and even though the Islanders have less games played or more games played than the Penguins, they have less games played than the Capitals. So, by the way, the Capitals are a team that you have to watch out for pretty soon because they got to make a deal. Otherwise, they're going to fall out of it too. Anthony, just explain why. No, definitely, I don't prefer 1 through 16. I don't like the travel. If I'm the number one team in the NHL, I don't want to go. Let's say it's the Florida Panthers. If I'm the Florida Panthers and the number 16 team is the Vancouver Canucks, you can go to hell. I'm not going. Shorter trips. That's what every team does. And every team preaches they want to be younger, but they get older around the trade deadline. And older bodies don't like that. Hunter, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yes, for Terasenko. And he was all right. She's fine in that one. Jonas Siegel, Kyle Dubas can't see trading a first-round pick or top prospects like Matthew Nyes for rentals. Who is this guy, Matthew Nyes? Everybody thinks is like the second coming of the Lord or something like that. I always keep hearing that about him.
Because the Leafs, it's pretty much the Leafs' best prospect. But I mean, I don't think he's going to be this elite player. I mean, I think he has a chance to be a good player, but I don't think he's going to be anything to write home about.
Ranger fans, I want to bring this one up because it is a great question. And John, here it is. He's asking, can somebody explain the role on Ottman? When can the Rangers add him to the roster? Now, he's a lot like a college player. And a college player, as long as they're within season, you can't add them to the roster. As soon as the OHL season's over, they can add them over to the roster. But the thing about it is, the Rangers can also slide his contract to another year, to next year, and they don't have to worry about starting the clock on him. Ottman's an interesting thing, and I think this trade basically takes Ottman off the table as far as for the Rangers or for being a trade. They're not trading Brennan Ottman. It's just not happening. So, but you slide him to next year, then you have 3 years of an ELC. It gives the Rangers a little bit more cap flexibility that they're going to need going forward, because they need it for 2024 when Kreider and Trouba both become modified no trades and not full no move clauses. So,
yep.
There's just rumors. There's no announcement from Boston. Dean is saying, what about the Rangers going after Tanner Jeannot? Again, I think Tanner Jeannot is an RFA. I don't see any reason why Nashville would make that trade, Anthony. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't see why Nashville has any reason to trade him. I believe he's a younger player too. I mean, I don't think I
think I had him at 25 originally when I looked this up. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of things in my brain.
I got
Tanner Jeannot, 25 years old, May 29th. He turns 26. $800,000 in an RFA next year. The RFA status is what's going to cost you more, because it's not just a rental. Anthony.
I got about 5 more minutes before I got to get my daughter off the bus. So just let you know.
Oh, wait. What is it? There was a bit of news you had about Ella that you might want to share with everybody.
Oh, it's not a big. I think she's first grade, so I'm assuming every student gets like their week, but she was the star of the week, so I went in there and read a book to her class. So, but yeah.
Oh, that does sound great.
Yeah. So I got to go get her off the bus in a couple of minutes. So,
no problem, everybody.
Marc,
I'm gonna go to. Go ahead.
Give me your bold prediction for the Rangers at the deadline, and then your more realistic.
Unfortunately, I think they're the same, Anthony. I think the Rangers are going to stand pat with everything they got. I think they're going to grab a fourth line type of forward, preferably a defensive type of forward that could also kill penalties and be good on faceoffs. Because again, when you go back to the 2014 New York Rangers and even the absolutely dumb. I'm actually going to stay a little bit longer, because especially since we got 143, and also I'm going to give the like comments in a second. But if you remember 2014 and 2015, especially when it came to Dominic Moore and Brian Boyle in 2014, you need that situation where you have two good face-off guys that could, if somebody gets thrown out, then you end up keeping the puck. I know we talked about it last night, how in my midnight ice hockey league game, I basically won 70 or 80% of my faceoffs. Enough that my teammates looked at me and went, damn, you won a lot of faceoffs. But faceoffs matter. I mean, I can't say that enough. I know the analytics want to say, oh, it's not true. And I mean, after all, I think it was the 96 Florida Panthers were not a good faceoff team. And they figured out ways to still do it without winning faceoffs. But no, I think the Rangers are going to get a fourth line type of guy, and that's it. I don't see them upgrading from really much of what's left. Tyler Mott always seems like the obvious one. You know what? And then that's a hell of a fourth line. That's a pretty good fourth line, and maybe they can even add maybe two guys if they're really cheap. But that's just what I think.
So, for me, for the more realistic Islander acquisition, I could see them adding a JVR just as more forward depth. Upgrade over either Holmstrom or Bailey, more specifically Bailey. Bold is, you ready for this?
Yep.
Showtime at UBS.
I have no idea whose nickname is Showtime.
Oh, Marc.
Who's Showtime?
He's a forward in the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, okay. All right. So it is Patrick Kane. Okay. Well, but can I ask you this? Is Lou going to be comfortable trading another first round pick?
Got news for you. I don't know. I'm not sure if the cost to acquire Patrick Kane is going to be all that high. He may only okay a trade to, 3 teams or so. So that limits the return that Chicago can ask for, because their hands are essentially tied. That he's 34 years old. He has a hip problem. You combine all that stuff. The Blackhawks are not getting a elite player prospect in return for Kane. So, and you got to remember, last year as poor Patrick Kane, the Islanders were on his list. They're on his list
Yes.
teams that you would, and now especially after seeing Bo Horvat, the top UFA, go there and sign an extension before he even gets there. And the last part of it, he really admires he really admires Barzell. He always talks about how talented he is, and it's with the Rangers out of the equation now for Patrick Kane, it actually opens the door for the Islanders to really go in there if Lou decided he wanted to go in that direction.
There you go.
I mean, can you imagine?
You know what? I think that's
of Kane, Horvat, and Barzell. I mean,
it would be another reason why Sidney Crosby wants to go back to 1 versus 8, because right now the Pittsburgh Penguins have about as much room under the cap for the deadline as I have in my wallet. So
yeah,
it's just not going to happen. All right, Anthony, take it easy. Guys, I'm going to stick around to 4:15. I'm already saying it right now. This has been a hell of a day. First 145 in the chat right now. You guys have been fantastic. We have had so far 95 likes. Let's see if we can get that to 100, everybody. We get that to 100, I will show you that I'm wearing pajama pants. So, and again, of course, I love this graphic because I made it, but appease the YouTube gods. Okay. And of course, just, smash that like right now, because I love days like this. This is almost reminiscent of our Johnny Gaudreau moments before. Dom, no need for the 10 more minutes. I have already announced 4:15, and Patrick, you're gonna have to wait a few more minutes. I will prove I am wearing pants. Because after all, it hit 100. 102. Okay, all right, everybody, look, pants. So I didn't know that's what it was going to take. It was going to take me saying, I'll prove to you that I'm wearing pants. I wasn't before this. I mean, I had to throw pants on because just in case if anybody was asking, I had to do that. I was planning on running out of the door and going to the gym. 4:15, I can still pretty much do that. I have a lot of stuff happening tonight. Sean, yeah, but you didn't want to see pajama pants. All right. Well, I mean, everything's a little bit, I've disappointed people before. There you go. There's your answer. Tommy Smith is saying Hicksel representing. Even if he's a rental or late first rounder, it is not asking too much. Yeah, I agree with you on that. In fact, that the Rangers had an extra first round draft pick. That's the reason why it's a good deal. So we're gonna stay with that one. And by the way, Sir Ghostly, thank you for helping out with that. 105, everybody. You guys are doing great today. And, I would love to tell you that I had a like goal, but I just don't. You just keep on hitting that like number. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you already have subscribed. We will be using this a lot. Actually, I forgot to do this today. So, breaking news, once again, the New York Rangers acquiring Vladimir Tarasenko. It's no longer breaking because it happened 2 hours ago. This is our trade deadline acquisition. And yes, I will watch what I say around Lou because otherwise I'll have a horse's head in my bed. But no, this is again, this has been a great day for the New York Rangers and seeing what they can actually do. This is they're going to add Vladimir Tarasenko, a guy who could shoot the puck off the pass on the right wing. You know, I want Capo Caco to get more ice time. It's okay if he doesn't right now, but the way the kid line's been playing, they've been dominating everything. And there was an article that just went up on our site. I get that for you all right now. Of that, it was funny because I was working on this article today when it happened. We're going to try to redesign some of the websites soon, but it is talking about the Rangers' best player in the last month, and it is simple: time to drink the Heedle juice. Right there. There you go. Time to drink the Heedle juice, written by a hack writer that's sitting in front of you. So, going over a little bit of what he's done and how he's been. But the big number with Filipino, everybody, is that plus 17, and it's only getting better. He is doing everything the Rangers have asked him to do. And I thought he was going to get dealt at the deadline last year. So just think about it like that. And yes, John Wilson, 100%. Welcome to the show. Great deal. Great to see Blay gone. The first round pick is expendable. The fourth round pick becomes something that's all right. Hopefully, this will not be a Steve Dangle trade tree. I love seeing this name, Beezer. There you go. Because after all, there's this is our year. We're a better built playoff team. I agree with you on that. I think they're a much better playoff team this year. And there's speaking about which, when we talked about ex-Rangers that people were sad to see go, nobody mentions John Van Beesbrook. John Van Beesbrook was loved. Yeah, and John D. Lee, very wise, who has said, I learned about patience and development, and his name is Heedle. By the way, he also called Andrew Kopp and manifested that to the New York Rangers last year. So, Tommy's still asking, can JG move the kid line to second? They need more minutes. He needs to use them that they need more minutes. That's the way he needs to use them. Now, they are getting more minutes. Heedle topped out at, let me get you that number. I had it in the article, oddly enough, but Heedle topped out, I think, 16. Here it is, 1658 last night. Here's Heedle's time on ice for the last 5 games: 1635, 1525, 1539, 1553, 1658. So I think the way he's playing, I think his days of 14 minutes and such is over. I think that's done. And he's on a 5-game goal scoring streak, Dino. That's right. Is that Star Wars / Gears of War like mixed up in there? Either way, that looks awesome. Dean, okay. Thank you very much. I guess shoot me a message on Big Apple Hockey. I think I have an email on there, or I'll put it on the link tree, or you can do it. Just send me a direct message on Instagram and I'll get in touch with you. Yeah, Beezer, all-time favorite goalie. One of, let's see, Igor, Henrik, and Beezer, the last 3 Vezina Trophy winners for the New York Rangers. Even Loff is looking confident. Yeah, it's amazing how sometimes just, you get a lucky bounce, puck luck goes your way, and then the next thing you know, boom, everything goes in. Rob is checking in. Rob from Chili's, thank you very much. You'll always be, actually, you know what, better off, Rob is known as the Bearded Baker. Go check him out in Brooklyn. Great cookies. Hope everybody is celebrating with cocaine and hookers tonight. After we get Mott, the East will be ours. Actually, for that, I think you need to sound a little bit more sinister. It should be, after we get Mott, the East will be ours. So, And everybody, there's still plenty of stuff to always look at. We have a library of videos that are on here. Thanks, everybody. 122 of you are still bearing with me through 2 hours of this podcast. And I haven't even promoted any of the other stuff to throw out there, but you know, we got a ton of stuff. We're going to be doing power rankings this week. It's going to be Anthony's turn, or is it Phil's turn? I got to actually double check that to go over who we think are the best teams in the NHL right now. We had a little bit of a surprise and a lot of angry Toronto Maple Leaf fans. But right now, you got to think that the Pittsburgh Penguins, after seeing this move, they're sitting there thinking to themselves, oh, okay. By the way, if you don't know, we do a segment called Who Says No? We're going to be doing a lot more of those right now, where Anthony suggests some mock trades, and we ask you which team says no. So let's go with this one. Timo Meier and a first round draft pick, Alexander Holtz and Miles Wood. Which team says no with you right now? Everybody throw that down in the comments right now. I would say, by the way, Tommy, that Kravtsov is probably the next one that goes. And yeah, this is a nice hat. There's still a few more of them available. I'll be ordering them, more of them, right after I get off the phone right here, or the stream. I've been talking for 2 hours straight. This is not good for anyone. John Jansen, I'm a Blues fan. I just found out about an hour ago. Go Blues. Yeah, well, there's a lot of good pieces in the Blues for the future, John, so don't worry about that. The future is going to be Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas, and they're going to be back before you know it. The St. Louis Blues are one of the best organizations in hockey. So there you go. And of course, gotta love that. Pumped. I'm pumped. I actually can't wait to see the next game. John, I love that one. I said this a while ago. Nick Bonino into the fourth line would be great. You know, San Jose is selling, and he's going to be. Oof. I gotta get you guys the contract terms for you right now. Nick Bonino would be $2.5 million. The Rangers can get him. And he's got a modified no trade clause. He's got a 5-team no trade list. So basically 27 teams. Hard to believe the New York Rangers as a Stanley Cup champion would be on there. And so Anthony, I'm going to answer this one for you. I think the Sharks would say no. And the reason why I'm going to give you for that, I believe Miles Wood is a UFA. Let's get that one. Where is he? Is he injured right now? All right, there's Miles. Yeah, Miles Wood is a UFA at the end of the year. They're going to need more than just Alexander Holtz in a first-round draft pick for Timo Meier, who's an RFA that they're going to lock up. So no, that's. I think right now San Jose says no. So everybody, by the way, check us out because definitely Wednesday we're going to be doing another edition of Who Says No. Would the New York Rangers still go after Line for Kravtsov and Jones? The cap hit would be tight with Vladdy. No, I don't think there's any chance of Patrick. I'm assuming it's Patrick Line, not Lane, but no. Oh, Kane. There you go. And the answer is still no. I think I don't think it would be tight. I think it would be unbelievable. Hey, good news. I understood two of those words. Let's see. 2 hours straight. Are you taking it easy today? This is one of my teammates. This is my goalie. So, and he hears me talk much more and when we're at a game, much more on the golf course too. That's also when I talk. So yeah, Big Patty Kane. Yeah, I did see it at the end. I think the cap hit's going to be too tight. That's why I think there's still so much that they have to do. All right, let's do another one right here. We got another one coming in from Anthony. Jacob Chikrin of the Boston Bruins for a first, a second, and Lysell. Who says no? keep in mind, Jacob Chikrin, that's an affordable contract for the next 2 years now. We're going to get to the rest of your picks on this in a second. 408, we're going for another 7 more minutes, and then we're going to start to play Bye-Bye by my cousin. That would actually, if the Bruins went and did that, they would have $32 million invested in their defense, and they will replace Connor Clifton for next year. I don't know. I think the Bruins might have to say no on that one, but they might need a Jacob Chikrin. Why not? Lucas saying, as a Ranger fan, I want to say we won this trade, and the only sad part is that we can't extend them. Yeah, that's a sad part, but hey, Vince, would you validate this for me? I won a lot of faceoffs the other night, right? And Mark, I think you're right about this one. Welcome to the show. I think there's another move up their sleeves. It's definitely gonna be for a depth forward. I think they're done adding to the defense, and I think they're done adding much. Really, I think all the big move is done for them now. 97, you're still in the chat right now. 158 on the timer as far as minute goes. So for an hour and 58, and you know what? And also, by the way, Dean, those picks are going to be low, but Arizona's stocked on stuff, and they might want to trade up to make sure they could get the number 2 when eventually they don't win the lottery yet again. So, all right. I think it's going to be tough to sign Terasenko on any level. He's 31. This is his last major contract. I think he's going to end up signing elsewhere. Dean saying those Boston picks are going to be low. The Rangers should go get Mott. Luca, I am in 100% agreement on that. Maybe that's what Mark is alluding to. I think JVR is great in theory if you're playing a video game, but not in reality. Bottom six. I just got there. Big Apple Hockey is us saying this one. I just spoke to Lou on the bat phone. He said that he's going to release some scandalous photos of Mark if he doesn't call him up and apologize in front of everyone right now. Oh my goodness. You know what? There's plenty of scandalous photos I took on purpose, so I don't even know which one to say for that. So yeah, but no, with Pat, you should pay attention to that. One of them I won clean. I went right past Bratzi, and we lost the face-off on it. It was almost too clean. So, but Luca, yeah, Bonino, definitely, absolutely, definitely. Yeah, Patrick, I think you're right about this one, but I can't. You should see me melt down on the phone. It's just, it's like I'm a 13-year-old calling up his first crush. What was better, the Bo Horvat trade or this? I would have to say the Rangers traded away scraps, but the Islanders got something. The Islanders made a statement. I said this on last night's show. This could be the biggest. Bo Horvat is potentially, or not even potentially, he's basically a UFA that they signed in mid-season. When does that ever happen? I mean, Bo Horvat could have said, oh, Dino, you're still coming in from Greece. Oh, that's great. Thanks again. You're one of our oldest followers, so it's great to have that. So going back to this, Bo Horvat choosing the Islanders is something that nobody has done on his level ever. Andrew Ladd was the biggest free agent signing they ever had, and Alexa Yashin they acquired. They had his RFA rights, so and then immediately signed him to a 10-year deal. But an article, by the way, is coming out about this one, Islander fans. You should get that one soon. But it's going to be an interesting thing. I think it's good for both teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up playing against each other now. If the Devils end up dropping off because Jack Hughes is injured, Vitek Vanacek is still every time he plays another game. Let me just check one thing. Devils fans on Vitek Vanacek. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right about this one. I just want to make sure I say it before the word or check it before the words come out of my mouth. But Vitek Vanacek right now is at 33 games played. The most he's ever played in a season in his career is 42. So it's getting closer to Vitek Vanacek establishing a career high every single season. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not he can handle the workload when it comes to the playoffs. Here's another interesting trade for you. First round pick and Kravtsov. You heard it here. Okay, Iceman. I like it. I like it, Iceman. Because you know what? If that's going to be the case, then maybe it's to recoup something else. I don't know. I don't see that that potential huge move. That's the only thing I'm having trouble with on that one. Love Fitness Studio says, "Go Rangers from Manchester, UK." Hey, thank you very much. Because after all, I love Manchester. Two of my coworkers, both from Manchester. Well, one of them used to be from one of them used to be my coworker, and huge fans of that area. The other one, he's from the Liverpool side of Manchester, and always great hearing from anybody across the pond. All right, we are at 4:14 right now. I'm going to start the music, guys, and we're going to call this one a night. It has been great for 2 hours. I thought about doing some of this, and let me see whether or not my microphone is full. Is it? All right, good. But because I am actually going to Farmingdale tonight to go see my cousin Karina Antonucci play at the what is it called again? It's and I have it right here. She's playing at the Villager. There you go. Villager, great place, great atmosphere. The back, awesome. I watched opening day there. Oh no, Lou's watching me right now. Lou, I said good things. But unfortunately right now, we got to get a different glare. We got to get this guy who's right now the boss in Madison Square Garden, more than enjoying that. So yeah, going to the Villager and seeing, you know what? I think I played some hockey out there actually in Manchester when I was there. Because we were in London. We were in London staying in Piccadilly. I know we drove somewhere else. I forgot one of the places. Actually, no, we haven't been doing any shout outs, Dean. We gotta get on that, get a Patreon on there. Oh no, there's a horse's head in my bed. But Jamie, this is a great one. Yes, it's always good. But no, I played in some great games when I was when I went there in 2004. I played some games. Trying to remember what team Racky played on. There was a guy actually. He was Czech. His name was Racky, and he was real good. Can't remember what the name of that team was. I remember taking a shot off my knee. That was not fun, and I was limping the rest of it. Actually, I think it was the Manchester Storm. There you go. Because we were you know what? That's what it was. I think that's right, because we were the Storm. That was the team I played on Long Island. So, Dominic, thank you very much. Everybody, always check out the replay of last night's show. 86 of you are still here listening to me. This is fantastic today. Thank you all very much. This is a great day for the New York Rangers. It's a great day for Big Apple Hockey as well, because also we're going to have more time like this. And everybody, don't forget, we are going to be doing a trade deadline special. Hopefully we have some stuff to talk about. We're definitely going to be talking about winners and losers on this. Do the Penguins make a move? Do the Capitals make a move? These are all dominoes. They're going to start to fall. So keep that in mind. And this is almost or arguably the best season for hockey. So you gotta love that. Bo Scorvat. Oh yeah, I love it how you took all things Rangers on that one. And my hockey is shaping up to be something exciting. I have to agree with that a hell of a lot, Patrick, because this is a great time. Hey, Vivek, how we doing? Canucks fan from India, which great to hear, because you know, you gotta love that. Spread the word, Big Apple Hockey, and we love our Canucks because we love us some Elias Pettersson, and I love me some Thatcher Demko. I can't believe that he even got him on the block. How do you have Thatcher Demko on the block? He was a top 10 goaltender last year, and probably going to be again. It's just, and he's been injured for a while, so I just don't get that. So it's not one of mine. So everybody, once again, make sure you're checking us out, and if you haven't done it for us, please hit the like button, subscribe, and the bell. Oh, the hand comes down once again, and of course, smash that like. Everybody, once again, thank you very much. I've got to get to the gym because I got to work a couple more pounds off. But no, thank you. It's been great. So let's go Rangers. Vladimir Tarasenko is going to be a New York Ranger tomorrow night. Can't wait to see him on the top line with Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. Take care. Have a great night.